You came back. Alright, welcome to Life, the comedy show, and let's hear it for your host, Frank Polstra!
Life stands for living in frank existence. Why have I done that? Well, basically throughout tonight I'm going to give you stories from my life, some epic fails that I've had, as well as some stories that you can take on for yourself. I will be giving you 4 life lessons this evening. They all have morals to the story, so please pay attention, because you will get to know these later on, and you will need to use these later on in life. So, start off with, what can I start off with? Molestation! Yay! Woo! Woo! I thought that would be a bit of a touchy subject to some people. On the subject of that, I guess, is that when you're in a pub with your friends, apparently there's a golden 3 rule. 3 subjects that you're never supposed to talk about with your friends when you're in a pub, and that's politics, religion, and football. Now, I'm not going to lie, people, I'm a massive football fan. Before you ask, Chelsea, before you say fuck you, because I really think bullshit. Religion's one of these things that I'm not really bothered about. I mean, I was born a Catholic, so I was raised a Catholic, but along the way, you don't lose your faith, as it were, but you just start to believe in other things, like science and evidence. and politics, I really couldn't give a shit about politics. I don't care who's running the country, I don't care what's going on, as long as I care about a financial future for myself and baked beans. That's all I really care about. But going back to the touchy subject, I guess the best way to segue into it is masturbation. Yeah, I know you're a bit sort of freaked out right now, but listen carefully. Come on, you'll get it. So masturbation. Most people do it, but they'll never admit it, and you'll never believe this from someone that does it ever so often. Something you may not need to know, but I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of it. It's part of life. I actually had to do some research. Who actually has to do research onto masturbation before you do a comedy show? But I did it myself. And guilty as charged. Apparently 95% of men admit to masturbating, compared to 89% of women that admit to masturbating. I can see very much right now that no one is bothering to cheer at that statement. Oh, some people! Oh, good for you. What else is there? Apparently, the average length of a porno in a hotel room is 12 minutes. Now, I'm definitely not going to lie to you, I never get to 12 minutes. I probably get to 12 minutes on the video bar, but there's a whole lot of skipping at the beginning. I'm not paying attention to stories, I don't care what this teacher's done or where this plumber is going to. I just want to see what's going on and what's being done about it. Apparently as well, 4 out of 10 women will admit to masturbating. No one in the audience is admitting it, good. Because I really have to subjugate you at that point. And apparently, there's nearly 800,000 people in America right now that are masturbating. And that is more than the population of Alaska. What I don't get is, I understand all this. I understand that, yeah, there could be 95% of men that admit to it. Yeah, there could be 4 out of 10 women that admit to it. Yeah, there could be nearly 800,000 people that in America that are masturbating right now. What I want to know is, how do they know? Who's taking these studies? What kind of perverted person is going up to people with a server? Could you imagine that in the middle of Middlesbrough, in the town centre, you're just walking through and just go, excuse me, how often do you masturbate? What? Just That's not exactly what I thought I'd be hearing today. But what can I say? Well, personally, there's a story I want to take you back to. This is first year of university. This doesn't involve myself. It involves two of my housemates in first year of university. For the benefit of this, I will not use their names. I will just call them person A and person B to save their identities. So person A, he's in his bedroom, you know, he's doing his work, he's just getting on with it. And, you know, you start getting moved, you're a bit bored. That's what you do, isn't it? If you're a uni student, you get a bit bored, you've got the internet right in front of you. What else are you going to do? So he finds the video he wants. Not like a clip on like porn tube or something. He finds an actual film that he wants to watch, and he's got the film up and he's getting ready. You know, he's relaxing. He's sitting in his chair, he's getting in the mood. Hasn't locked the door. Just to let you know.
No.
And so he hasn't locked the door. And what happens? Person B walks in. Person B walks in. Person A hasn't started doing anything yet. Person B just walks in and goes, "Oh my God, what the hell are you doing?" And person A doesn't have time to react. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't take his hand away. He doesn't turn off the computer screen. He doesn't do anything except to turn to person B and just go, "Meh." He makes a goat noise. Out of everything you could do in that situation, why would you make a goat noise? That's the worst thing you could do ever. So, lads, this is what I'm going to give to you. I'm going to give you a vital piece of advice for when it comes to getting caught masturbating. And we've all been caught at some point in our lives, thankfully not me, but we've all been caught at some point. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to use this story for the next time you get caught masturbating. So if you're in your room, you're getting ready to go, and someone, such gross language apparently, just say ready to go. Anyway. So you're sitting there, you're getting ready to go, and someone bursts in. You've forgotten to lock the door. You've done the same thing as person A does. So your friend bursts in, and he goes, "Oh my God!" The first thing you've got to say is, "Thank God you're here!" And this is really going to throw them off, because they're going to go, "Thank God I'm here." I thought you were about to have a wank. Your next line is, "You'll never believe this." At which point the second person is going to be like, "Okay, tried it. You're in a pretty compromising position. I'd like to see you talk your way out." So then you start telling this story. "I was just walking across my room, just going for a little stroll, little walk around the area in my room, when this great big bloody tarantula just came out of nowhere and shot straight on my trouser leg. I had no idea what he was doing. He just went straight on my leg, and I panicked. But then I remembered the other day I read a book called Tarantulas and Their Wily Ways. Apparently there is nothing better that tarantulas love more to stick their fangs into people's penises. And so when I saw that, I thought, that's what the bugger's after. So I whipped my jeans off and whipped my underwear off as fast as I could, and I saw the tarantula right there at the end of my knob. And I had no time to think. I knew that's what he was going for. I could see his fangs going. And then the first thing I had to do was, "Get the fuck off me! Get rid of it! Get to the door right there!" I have to tell you a story as well about probably the worst hand job I've ever been given. This was a couple of years ago, back in 2008, 2009. And I was with one of my best friends. We were in a party at and I don't quite remember the events of the evening. Like, they kind of get lost in all their vodka and alcohol and such. But all I remember is pictures on Facebook the next day of. I hate to describe her in this way, but this is what she did. Like, there's no safe way of describing her. She was a big girl, right? She was a big girl, and not that I'm against big girls, but she was a big girl, and she took advantage of me. I was in a state of intoxication, and she took full advantage of me. So what we had to do is we had to go from this one house to another house because we couldn't stay there. So we had to stay at our other friend's house. And it gets about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Everyone else has gone upstairs to sleep. Me and the girl are still downstairs. We're getting a bit handsy, we're getting a bit moody. And, and then she starts going downtown, as it were. And lads, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but if I said the word snapping your banjo, oh yeah, massive reaction there. Well, I didn't do that, but it felt like, that's almost what it felt like. And I do apologise for the amount of language I'm using, but grow up. Anyway, yeah, that's exactly how it felt like. The rigorous force she was using into it felt awful. I mean, the one thing I can describe to you the next day of how I got home was the most painful looking cowboy you ever saw in your life. Oh, jeez. I said to you I was going to give you these life lessons over the course of this evening, and the first one is called The Priest and the Nun. So pay attention to the story, listen to the moral of the story, and then eventually you'll get it. So, one day, a priest offered a nun a lift home, in his car, obviously. And, anyway, just driving down the road, obviously she gets into the car, she crosses her leg, and it forces her gown to reveal a leg. Stunned by this, the priest almost has an accident in his car, so he has to steer it back into control. As he does this, he slides his hand up the nun's leg. And the nun says, "Father, remember Psalm 129? So the father quickly removes his hand. Again, changing gears, this time again lets his hand slide, puts it up the nun's leg. And again she goes, "Father, remember Psalm 129? And the priest goes, sorry sister, but the flesh is weak." So, arriving at the convent, the nun gets out and she releases a heavy sigh. She's like, the priest is very stunned by this. So the priest goes back to the church and he rushes to the nearest Bible he can find. And when he finds Psalm 129, this is what it says: "Go forth, further up you seek, and you will find glory." So, the moral of that story is, if you're not well informed in your job, you might miss a great opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, the first video this evening is done by our own Ginny Hayes, who is in the ensemble for tonight's performance. She's doing her own sort of comedy video vlog on the internet, on YouTube. And she hasn't posted it yet. This is her first video. She just wanted to show you guys what she can do, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Once that's done, we'll come back out and we'll do some improv comedy for everyone. So I'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Jenny vlog. Before you watch the rest of this video, I will give you a health hazard warning. I claim this video is a comedy video, but I cannot guarantee any laughs. I'm not much of a comedian, and if any of you guys laugh, they will either be sympathy laughs or you may actually genuinely like me, and that will be quite shocking. Now, today's topic for this video is basically something that we've all come across, and it's a little something known as the internet. And if you haven't, then well, you must have been living in a cave for a very long time. And we all know about social networking sites and which sites were popular in our also mature teenagers. You know, stood on the street corners with your little bottles of Lambrini and going, meh, like we're drinking and that, like this is so funny and that. That wasn't exactly me, because I was one of those cool kids that liked to swap Pokemon cards in the middle of the playground. Yep, moving on. Now, from the ages of 12-ish, we all came across the internet and we felt like cool adults because we could Google search and we could find anything on the internet. It was something new, and with something new comes a lot of discoveries. Now, I'm going to bring you guys back down memory lane into our lovely teenage years with the internet and social networking. Starting off with a little thing known as MSN Messenger. Do you guys remember that? You'd be going into the playground at secondary school and you'd be like, "Shezza, what's your addy like?" And looking back on that now, I admit I was one of those kids that used to speak like that. not Welsh, but you can get the lingo. And that will be the closest I will ever experience being a chav. Because all of my friends had nicknames such as Shezza, Dowie, or, just daft little names like that. And, I just wasn't one of those kids. I'm not a very exciting child, so I can't really tell you anything exciting. Anyway, back on track. Basically, it would be every day at the end of the school. I'd part with my friends at the school gates and we'd call out, "Talk to you on MSN tonight, yeah?" And I found it funny that even though my parents didn't trust me to have a mobile phone, they trusted me to go onto the internet, onto this instant messenger, and talk to any stranger in the world. Like, there'd be random people coming up to me on MSN who I didn't know, and they'd be asking me the most weird questions. And now that I look back on it, it is so frigging creepy. Like, I didn't give anyone my Hotmail address, but it was just ironic how my parents didn't let me have a mobile phone, yet let me onto this. But then again, my mum still doesn't understand Facebook, so yeah. But you were not a cool kid on MSN unless you had triple X's in your Addy, and you had a cool collection of emoticons. It got up to the point where I was on MSN so much that my conversations would go from normal text to random pictures that would resemble different words, such as cat with lol underneath, for lol, or a penguin slapping another penguin. And I felt like such a cool kid with my little collection of emoticons. I felt like a Pokemon trainer. But it got up to the point where conversations wouldn't be text anymore. They'd be filled with all of these emoticons, and after a while I felt like I'd lost the intelligence of being able to read. Like a book was a foreign object. Why does it say "be right back"? It should be "BRB. Spell check, people. And chat logs, like, I remember everyone was pretending to be detectives with them. "Oh my gosh, so-and-so was slagging you off. Send me the chat log, babe." And you'd use it as evidence. Like, everything that happened on MSN. Like, I'd have a fallout with a friend, and I wouldn't believe the things that they were saying to me. So I'd have to have everything printed out in the chat log just to prove that I had a point. It's just, the internet has so much wrong with it, but we just can't stay away, It's such a revolutionized thing in technology, yet there's so much wrong with it. And I don't know what to say anymore. Like, what is there anything that you remembered from this rant? Like, was there anything on MSN that you remember? Is there any good memories that you get from MySpace, Bebo, MSN, Facebook? Just let yourself go. Like, let me know what you guys think. Like, just thank you for watching, because I've just realised I've rambled on about the internet and it probably doesn't make any sense. And I bet you're not laughing. And if you have laughed at all, then I thank you. I really do thank you. And that is all from me. This is Jenny signing out, and I hope you enjoyed this video.
So from the video, we tried to do comedy, but yeah, at least I got laughs. Anyway, moving on, we're on to the first improvisation game of the night. Basically, this game is called two-sentence vocabulary. Basically, we have our three performers, Frank, Michael and Sophie. So give them a round of applause. Basically, I'll be giving Sophie and Michael two sentences each, and Frank can improvise with anything from the top of his head. So basically, the two sentences that I give Sophie and Michael, those are the only things that they are allowed to say in the improvisation. So Sophie, your sentences are, "What do I look like?" and "That's not what you said last night." And then for Michael, your sentences are, "Did you hear that?" and "What should we do?" So to start this game off, I need a genre of a film, like any suggestions.
Horror.
Horror.
Rom-zom-com. Romantic comedy with zombies.
Bollywood.
Guys. Bollywood and...
Frankie, do you want to come?
You are tourists trying to hit my arrival.
Trying to make a joke.
Okay.
So Bollywood and...
Bollywood, and basically the scenario is that you have tourists trying to hit Okay.
I really don't want to do the accent now. So I'm going to say clear away from it before anyone boos me again. Right. We got to get ourselves to Bollywood, otherwise we're never going to make it as famous Bollywood dancers.
What do we do?
Well, what you do is you stick your thumb out like this, and then you just wait, I guess.
What do I look like?
You look like the exact same as us do. You just look like the person. Which is good, because this is what we're going to do. This is our fame. This is our road to stardom to Bollywood.
That's not what you said last night.
Well, you know, talking about our personal life is not in the situation right now. We're hitchhiking to Bollywood. So,
Did you hear that?
no, I didn't hear anything. We're in the desert. This is taking ages. I mean, what can we do? Like, is there any way we can pass the time? Like, is anyone got any games we can do?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was me. It was me talking. Right. You got an idea for a game?
What do I look like?
Well, I'm hoping someone with an idea.
That's not what you said last night.
Because I always have to do the work. Anyway, right.
What do I do?
You stand by and watch. Not a time to be dicking around, right? We need to get to Bollywood.
What do I look like?
Well, a person that's really pissing me off right now, so we just gotta get to Bollywood.
Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear it. What do I look like? Constant peril. We're just stuck in a desert. I don't know what to do.
That's not what you said last night.
I know.
Well, before you come buses anymore, that's the end of the game.
Almost half down. Right, now this segue obviously has nothing to do with that game, but who here loves being drunk? Fucking uni students, of course you love being drunk. Anyway, I absolutely love being drunk. It's the best thing in the world. Even the hangovers I'm now starting to get a hold of, and they don't affect me as much now. The only problem I have is when Dave fucking Hammond comes into my room at 2 o'clock in the morning, wondering where his bagels are at. Look at him. Anyway, yeah, I love being drunk, but because especially as well, is when you watch drunk people, they're the funniest people in the world. If you're not drunk yourself and you're watching people, it can be fucking hilarious. I mean, if you've ever seen me, this one night I was out in the SU. I was so drunk, I walked past, I stopped my car on the table, I stared it out for 20 minutes. As if he was going to fight back. I didn't know what to do. Obviously, a consequence of drinking so much is obviously the aftermath, the vomiting, the awful stage, no one likes it. So I'm going to tell you the story now of two friends from back home, Joe and Nick. Nick's the older brother, Joe's the little brother. And they'd gone out one night to this club. They're having a few drinks, having a good laugh. Eventually, Nick turns to Joe and see that Joe's getting in that state. He looks like he's ready to go. So Nick goes to him like, do you want to vomit, man? Like, seriously, if you want to vomit, that's cool. No masculinity points will be taken from you. If you want to vomit, just vomit. And he goes, nah, man, I'm cool. Let's get another 3 drinks in. He's like, all right. So later on in the evening, same thing happens. About an hour later, Joe starts to feel vomity again. It's like, and then Nick goes again. Man, do you want to throw up? Like, seriously, it's no disrespect on your behalf if you vomit, just vomit right now. And he's just like, nah, I'm cool, let's go. So eventually he gets to the point where Nick has to go, you know what, I'm just going to take him home. I can't risk him. So they get in the taxi, they're going home, And in the taxi driver turns to Nick and goes, "Is your brother all right?" And he turns around and he sees Joe, and Joe's worse now. Joe's like 10 times worse. He's like green in the face. Seriously, Joe, we'll pull over the car right now if you need to vomit. Nah, I'm cool. Let's get on with it. So eventually they get to the house, and Nick just turns to Joe as they get out of the car. "Right, it's your last warning. I'm only going to give you one more chance. If you need to bomb, you do it now. You don't do it inside the fucking house. You do it here. You do it out in the open and whatever." "Nah, I'm cool. I don't need to bomb. It's cool. It's good." "Alright, fine." They go into the house. Nick places Joe on the sofa, and Nick goes into the kitchen to grab a glass of water. Not 2 seconds of being into the kitchen, all Nick heard was, So, walks back into the living room, and what does he find? He finds his brother passed out on the sofa with vomit all down his front. And this wakes up his mother. So his mother comes downstairs, and he just goes to Nick, "What the fuck happened to him?" And then Nick just turns to his mother and just goes, "Can't argue with a drunk person." It's really hard, because in my personal experience, it is hard to argue with a drunk person. I mean, just ask Dave Hammond. That's a little inside joke for most people that know what Dave's like when he's drunk. But for an insight of what I'm like when I'm drunk, this can only be phrased with the word, well, I guess with the Twitter phrase, #mango. Now, bear with me, I'm going to explain it to you. Me and Dave, we were drinking one night, we had taken a photo of a bunch of booze that we bought, and he, being the little Instagram nerd that he is, needed a bunch of hashtags to go with it. So he was like, #booze, #crunk. Right, what else can we hashtag? #mango. Why mango? Why the fuck not? Alright. So #mango goes in. Later that night, we've drunk all the alcohol. We're out to the SU, we're raving, we're having a good time, it's all good. We meet this guy, I don't know what happened there. And then I asked my housemates, like, what the fuck happened? And they just went, I don't know, you were pissed out your face, you must have done this, you must have done the chocolate, you must have done the bread with the milk. And what I heard next was the most awful thing ever, because it really scared the fuck out of me for a good 2 hours. Other than Steve and Dave, my other housemate Mark, he's gay, and in his Anyway, calm yourself down, James. Anyway, you have Dave and Steve, and then you have my other housemate Mark, who's gay, and I don't know why. All I know about this was that Mark never really sleeps. He usually comes down at obscure times in the morning to, brush his teeth or something. So probably about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, he'd come down with his wash bag. He went to go brush his teeth. He left his wash bag on the sofa and gone to bed. Me, I got a bit curious, drunk obviously. I went into the wash bag and I found myself a butt plug in there. Dave Barr said, "No, I did not do what you think I was about to do." Apparently I just stared and looked at it for a little while. Yeah, that's what
How did it feel?
I was telling you about these life lessons, and the second life lesson that we got coming up is it's called the genie. One day, an administrations clerk, a sales rep, and a manager were walking off to lunch. On their way, they find an old oil antique lamp on the road. So they pick it up, they rub it, and out pops a genie. And the genie says, "I will grant each of you just one wish." Me first, says the admin clerk. She goes, "I'd like to be in Hawaii, relaxing on the beach without a care in the world, Poof, she's gone. Me next, says the sales rep. The sales rep goes, I want to be in the Bahamas, driving a speedboat, with my own personal masseuse, with an endless supply of pina coladas and the love of my life. And poof, he's gone. So the genie says to the manager, all right, you're up next, what do you want? And then the manager just goes, I want those two back in the office after lunch. The moral of that story is, always let your boss have the first say. What I'd like to do for you now, I want to do something a bit different. I want to give you guys a little bit of a treat, a little bit of a difference. I'm going to give you a magic trick. So, firstly, I need a volunteer from the audience. No, actually gone. Seems how you're the only one. And what's your name? Huh? What's your name? It's a green Thursday. What I want you to do, I want you to name a number between 1 and 10. 3. So what you've got to do is you're just going to go 1, 2, 3, and that third card is going to be your card. So if that was your card, it would be the 10 of diamonds. Get me? Right, so now you're going to do the exact same thing. Just go 1, 2, 3, and that third card is going to be your card. Just from the top. Just from the top, yeah. 1, 2, and 3. There you go. Now, take a look at that card. Memorize it. Go around to the audience. Make sure they've got it. So you're not the only one in on the trick. So everyone gets a know. Is everyone in on this?
Yeah.
Show it off to the camera so the camera can get it as well.
This time, spell it.
So everyone can get it. Everyone get a nice look at the card.
Yeah, got it.
Right, Nick. Now put the card back into the deck. Anywhere, just shuffle all the cards round, put them all in the deck. Lay down. Them two. Oh, them two.
Oh!
Steve. Great show so far. So, woo! Yeah! Oh my God. We got a round of applause for a shuffle. So, you would think that I have no idea where this card is in the deck.
Well, that what you lead me to believe.
I have no idea where this card is in the deck. I guarantee you. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to do just a little sleight of hand. Just make sure you watch it right really carefully. You got to watch this sleight of hand because it's going to be so fast. Okay? There you go. Right. Now on the count of 3, it's amazing, wasn't it? On the count of 3, I'm going to click my fingers and this card is going to be your card. Right? 1, 2, 3. Is that your card? The Ace of Diamonds. A little bit up. No, it's not your card. Right, alright. Right, I'll give it one more go just to try myself. Right, I'm going to do the exact same thing again, sleight of hand, just quickly. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Is that your card, the 9 of Diamonds? You are really fun. Alright. Well, that's a little awkward. You can...
Yes, now.
Yeah. Yeah, a bit more and more. Yeah, you can go sit back down. That's good. I must say that's never happened to me before, and that's not the first time I've had to say that. So I'm just gonna introduce this next video now because well, there's just no point really of trying to continue a magic trick that just doesn't work. So this next video is just of a mock news report, and then once we're done with that, we're going to come out and do some more improv. So I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Good evening to this week's news. My name is Rodrigo Aubergine, and these are today's news headlines. A local man in white socks and black shoes has been mistaken for the king of pop Michael Jackson. There are ongoing police reports of child molestation on the man's behalf. A child has been arrested today for pushing his morbidly obese best friend down the stairs When faculty heard what they heard from the incident, all they could hear was the choir room next door with the orchestra playing to the tune of a 22-year-old female from Reading, Pennsylvania in the United States of America has been said that she has been in a... Why are you laughing? No? Okay. Right? Okay. I'll start that one again. A 22-year-old from Reading, Pennsylvania in the United States of America has been said to have had past problems with her relationships. When asked on her current state of affairs, she said that the local man in her life has been nothing but trouble. And she said that she knew that he was trouble when he walked in. Apparently, it was all for herself to be blamed, though. In celebrity news, Justin Bieber has been committed to an insane asylum for repeatedly reporting the word baby over and over again in one single song. Apparently, the song has been named for an Academy Award. In sport this week, Sir Alex Ferguson has retired from Manchester United. The legendary manager has been with his club for the past 26 years. At Old Trafford, you could hear the sounds of crying and wailing from the locker room. Elsewhere in London, at Stamford Bridge, you could hear the fans and the players cheering, wooing, and saying the phrase, "Freedom!" over and over again over the current news. Finally, local police in Northumbria have been ever closer to the... Local police in Northumbria have been ever closer answering the question, who let the dogs out? New leads are on this case. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry, Frank, the production team, they've written on your cards again.
They've done it on
Yeah,
that.
just look, man, it's...
Phantom Menace! Really, guys? Come on, Phantom Menace!
Oh, come on, Frank, it's funny!
What else have they written? Oh, Twilight till I die. Do you think that's funny? You know what? You think this is fucking funny, guys? Really? You know what? Jon Snow doesn't have to put up with this stuff. You know what? I can't take this stuff anymore. I just can't do it. By the way, is that your card?
There's a reason we didn't get Steve up. Right, so we're doing another improv game now. It's called New Choice. Can you give me a clap for Michael and Frank again, please? Okay, the aim of this game is I'm going to get a suggestion from you guys about a scene these two are going to do. They're going to go on doing the scene. But throughout the game, I'm allowed to shout out New Choice whenever I like. And that means the last thing they said, they need to change it. Might actually be the last thing they said or the last thing they did. But I can shout out New Choice as many times as I like until I'm happy with what they said. So, can somebody give me a suggestion for like a kind of outlandish profession? Something that if you ask somebody what they do... something if you didn't ask something that if you ask somebody what they did for a living, you wouldn't normally get as a response.
Performing arts Irish lecturer. I'm on a scale of water. And fire.
Alright, I'll go with gynecologists because that's one of the ones that came out first. So, you two gynecologists that are colleagues having a discussion at work. Alright?
Are you ready today, Steve?
I think so. Although after that week holiday, I'm not really sure what the thing we're doing is anymore.
Well, do I have to explain to you what we have to do again?
I would like that.
Right. Have you scrubbed up? Have you scrubbed up? That's what I'm doing here. I'm scrubbing up.
Yes.
Have you scrubbed up? Right.
Yes,
Okay. Right. Now, then you get your gloves on. There you
Physical
go.
choice.
Then you put your socks on.
Physical choice.
Then you put your what do you put? You put your hat on. There you go. Builder's hat, light, everything. So what you need to do, you need to get yourself in a position. So you need to get that in there, and just basically look first, right? And well, I'm wondering if you know what to do next.
I remember something to do with a hoover,
New choice.
a shovel,
New choice.
a duster,
New choice.
both hands,
New choice.
my foot.
There's probably a reason why you forgot how to do this if you use your foot. So what you need to use your hands, right? You need to get the lube, right? And you need to put the lube on.
I like where this is going.
And then we're not gonna go in straight away. Because we respect ladies in
New
this.
choice.
Because we disrespect ladies.
New choice.
Because we love men in this place. We love men so much that we're going to use men as a way to get to the women. So we're going to ask the partners, that's what we're going to do. We're going to ask the husbands, the boyfriends, the girlfriends even. We're going to ask all of them on what they think that we should do first.
Is that why we're wearing you?
Yes.
How do you feel about this?
I think we'll end it there, guys. Well done.
Gynecologist is always one of the worst ones to do. Because then obviously you don't want to do the physical actions.
Do it.
I'm not going to mock. Nothing, right. So, another disgusting subject I know you're not really going to want to hear about, but it's something, it's not personal to me, of course, but it's just something that's happened to me, and it's just really disgusting, and I apologise right now, but I'm going to talk about shitting. Oh yeah, oh god, no one even wants to think about it. But I've had some close calls, what I mean, some really close calls. I mean, oh, it's awful. This one night earlier this year, myself and Dave, we always comes back to them. Me and Dave, we done some drinking at our house. I wasn't feeling too well. It must have been the food I ate earlier or so, but I just know I wasn't feeling that up for it, you know. So anyway, we go to Onyx, and then as soon as we get there, I say to Dave, I've got to go to the toilet. There's no way. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what's about to happen, and I'd rather be on a toilet than rather standing in the middle of Onyx doing this. So I rush to the toilet, I get in there, close the cubicle, I'm straight there. 15 minutes later, Dave is still wondering where I am. Yeah. It didn't happen to you, did it? It didn't happen to me. It's disgusting. One of the worst ones, I mind you, was when I was in Flares with Dave as well. And me and Dave, we'd gone to Flares, and in this cubicle, there was no lock on the door, there was no toilet seat, there was piss all over the floor, there was barely minimum toilet paper, so you can understand that I was sitting, I wasn't sitting, I was squatting, squatting over a toilet, having to put my hand here to make sure no one opens the door, and my jeans are all in the piss, and now I'm pissing jeans, and I'm trying to not get my underwear in it as well, and I'm like that, and the toilet roll's here, so it's really hard trying to get the toilet out. It was awful, it was a really awful situation. Back on New Year's Day, it's really frustrating on New Year's Day because you've been out, you've been for a piss, especially when you're in town and you stayed at a hotel for the night and you had to check out in the morning, so you have to go home. My family and I, we just moved to Maidstone, so I didn't really know the area that well, so I didn't know the buses, I didn't know the area, so I had to walk home. I knew it wasn't that far, it was about 2 miles, so I thought I could do this. Not 5 minutes into the walk, I knew straight away that I had to go to the toilet. It was just there. It just came on me. It was a hangover shit from hell. So I had to go in. I had to go in and go to the toilet straight away. And thank God I did, because there was no way I was getting any further with that. But halfway through the walk, I don't know what my body decided to do. My body was playing tricks on me, because all I know is I had to go again. And it's really horrible on New Year's Day when you're hungover and you're needing a shit and you're still a mile from home and you're dehydrated. You're dehydrated because you're so hot. It was actually hot. in Maidstone on New Year's Day. I didn't believe my eyes, but it was so hot and I had this massive coat on. So there's me walking a mile in a massive coat, dehydrated from the sun, needing the shit, walking from the knees down all the way home. It was the most horrifying experience of my life. And I pray to God that you never have to go through it. Life lesson number 3. Nice little segue into it. It is about shit, so pay attention. This one's about the turkey and the bull. A turkey said to a bull one day, "You know what, I really love to get to the top of that tree, but I'm just exhausted all the time. I'm just always tired." So the bull says, "Well, why don't you have some of my dung? Because it's got packed with nutrients to be able to get you to the top of the tree." So the turkey's nibbling away at the bull dung, nibbling away. I'm not going to do the full thing. That's the turkey. Right. He's nibbling away. Lo and behold, not too long later, the turkey is able to reach the bottom branch. Couldn't believe himself. So the next day, the turkey comes back, nibbles some more at some more bull dung, and is able to reach the second branch. After the 4th night, the 4th day, the turkey was able to eat so much bull dung that he got to the top of the tree. He was so happy with himself. However, the farmer shot him out of the tree as soon as he spotted him. So, the moral of that story is, bullshit might get you to the top, but it won't keep you there. Oh God, really so this next video, I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, this next video is brought to you by aliens. These aliens have come in and they want to destroy the Earth and they want to take over our entire planet, and they sent me this video earlier today to give us a warning. So we're going to watch this video, then we're going to come back, do some improv and enjoy it. So see you in a couple of minutes.
Greetings, people of Earth. My name is Galatar Galactius Jr. Anyway, I am here to let you know that we, the people of the Giglapesh blood, will be taking over your entire planet. Anyway, a couple of ground rules before we start. Number 1, everyone must be turned into Giglapesh. Giglapesh are my children, and therefore everyone will be born with one eye, except for the women. I don't want women to only have one eye, because that would be really creepy having sex. And no, I'm not gonna have sex with my children, you dirty perverts. Rule number 2. There are people on this earth that really just piss me off. Number 1, Justin Bieber. He must die, and I will give £13 billion to those who do it. Number 3, do not like dogs. Dogs are horrible people, and they are obviously the worst things in the world.
Frank, it is ready. Mom, I told you not to come in when I'm filming my videos.
Right, so the last improvisation game we're going to play is called Scenes from a Hat. Thank you. Now, before the show, I asked you all, well, some of you, to make scenes and suggestions, and they're all in the hat, all mixed up and everything. And everyone is going to be playing this game. Right, so I'm going to start off by pulling out a suggestion, and they're going to perform it in front of us. So, first one is alternative endings to famous movies.
I am finally back.
And after Harry Potter killed Voldemort, he woke up back in his cupboard, and it was all a dream.
One that says "pick me" on it. When you fart in a public place.
You're probably me.
Da, 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 da. I find you guilty in the name of the court. May God have mercy on your soul.
Right. Worst things to get stopped at airport security for?
I can't accept.
We seem to have found a substance on your luggage here, sir. Now, it looks to be either cocaine or lube. Do you want to explain which one it is?
Officer, I don't understand. How is taking a goldfish to South Africa a bad thing?
What a girl doesn't want to hear from her father. This goes terribly wrong.
The good news is that we're moving to Korea, but the bad news is that we have to kill the dog.
Honey, I've made a new best friend. Meet Mr. Savile.
Were Jimmy Savile joke in there somewhere?
That's right, I'm your daddy.
Rejected names for bras.
The all-new nip-ups.
Huggies, extra dry.
Now, I found this one with a star on it. Pilar.
Pilar, please.
Let's choose it.
You want to do pilar?
If we say it when we have an message.
Here we go. Right, 4 AM, day of the deadline. Probably should start this by now.
Right, the last one is going to be inappropriate things to say at a business meeting.
Right, I'm not going to lie, people. All these women here are hired because they're fucking fit, and you lot are mingers. Get back to work.
Alright, thanks guys, that was a really productive meeting. Miss Smith, can you say back? I've got some business I'd like to discuss with you.
Now about your raise.
Ladies and gentlemen, I must say I thank you all so much for being here tonight. It's been an absolute honour and a privilege to perform in front of you. I did say I was going to give you 4 life lessons, and we're on our final one now. So this one's just called The Little Bird. Little Bird was flying south in the winter, and pretty cold. So eventually the bird freezes up and lands in this field. Little bird lay there frozen in the field, thought he was going to die. But a cow came along and dropped a cow pat onto the bird. But instead of freaking out, the little bird realised he was pretty warm in the cow pat. So he started to get thawed out by the warmth of the cow pat. And then with this excitement and enjoyment, he started to sing because of it. He was so excited that he'd been thawed out by this cow pat. Eventually hearing this, a cat comes along. Cat comes along and starts to hear the bird singing. So he goes to investigate. The cat eventually finds the bird, digs him out of the cow pat and eats him. Now, this story has 3 morals to it. Number 1, not everyone that shits on you is your enemy. Not everyone that gets you out of shit is your friend. And even when you're in deep shit, never rely on anyone. Oh. Well, that was a pretty poor point to leave it on. But anyway, thank you very much, guys, for being here. I'll see you next week.